So as you can see here, Ruben, this property is comprised of 3 buildings, detached buildings. You can see right here the first house, the front house. It's 4 bedrooms, 2 bath with a yard in the front and the side and the back. And structure number 2, this is a duplex, which is 2 bedrooms, 1 bath each unit, 2304.
What are the numbers on this property?
The numbers of this property, basically, it's 4 units. The house, a duplex, and a 2-bedroom apartment. They all have separate entrance. This property sold for $550 in 2005, and we picked it up for $80,000. And we put in $10,000 in it to bring it back to habitable condition. So right now we're in it for $90,000. We rent the house for $800. We rent each duplex for $600, and we rent the back apartment as well for $600. So we have a total combined income of $2,600 a month in gross rental income, and our principal, interest, tax, and insurance on this property on a 30-year fix, it's $865.
How much are you cash flowing here?
Right here we're cash flowing after expenses. We're cash flowing $1,600 a month.
Okay, so on the way here we were just talking about some mistakes that investors make when they're getting involved in real estate. Can you share any of the mistakes you've made or give some advice as to what not to do?
I'm going based on my own experience, and the only advice that I can do is share my own experience. And when I was younger, 5 years ago, I was trying to, become an expert in different sectors of the real estate industry. I was trying to flip, short sales, closing simultaneously. I was trying to develop. I was trying to do land entitlements. I was trying to do bulk sales or tapes, what they call it. I was trying to do all kinds of stuff. My only advice I can give you is focus on 1 or 2 things. Become the best at it. Make it simple. Do it over and over and over. Focus on one thing, because become the best on one thing, and do it over. And that's the best way to build credibility and getting results done. So what I suggest is just get your feet wet. Start with a small project, a small duplex, a small flip. And you'll be surprised. A simple project, just as flipping a little house or flipping a little duplex, you'll be surprised on how many elements, so many variables are you going to be exposed to.
Now, is hanging out with a group of investors like what you find at Phoenix Real Estate Investors, is that going to be a good thing for somebody?
Repeat that again, Ruben?
If you're looking to get into real estate, is hanging out with a group of investors like what you find at the Phoenix Real Estate Investors, is that a good idea?
That's a great question, Ruben. Absolutely. What I definitely suggest every person who's an entry-level investor, even a seasoned investor, join a local group. For example, like I joined you guys, the Phoenix Real Estate Investors Group, and that's, you want to join an investment community who's ethical, who has a code of ethics. Make sure you interview them, talk to people, make sure you feel comfortable, see what their goals are, and that's the best way to go. Because being in a group, being committed to a group, and being involved with the group, it just opens a whole window of opportunity, resources, networking, and it just gets better. And most importantly, is just you need to have fun. Have fun, be optimistic, and make sure you join a group where there's optimism galore, and people who are proactive and active. You want to make sure you walk the walk and talk the talk, or shadow someone who's walking the walk and talking the talk. That's the best advice I can give you.
Okay, so if you had a cousin with 20 grand, what advice would you give him?
If I had repeat that again?
If you had a cousin with $20,000, what would you tell him to do with it? I mean, would you have him invest it all in one shot? Would you say, hey, start slow? What would you do?
That's a great question. I mean, you'll be surprised how what you can leverage with very minimal money. If I had a cousin with $20,000 and he asked me for advice and he wants to invest it in real estate versus the stock market, I would definitely ask him. We got a visitor here. I would definitely, right here in Phoenix, invest it in Phoenix. He's from San Diego, California. By the way, I have a cousin that wants to invest. And in California, there's no way you can't do anything with $20,000. You'll be surprised you'll be lucky if you can pay your closing costs. But with $20,000 here in Phoenix, you can easily buy a nice home in a low-income area for about $20,000. Buy it cash and rent it for $800 a month. So cash on cash, $800 a month times 12. You're looking at about $9,600 in gross rents minus expenses. You'd probably net about $7,000. But what's $7,000 of $20,000? Well, that's about a 33% return on your money, and you own a free and clear asset. And if you buy a property that is right, what I mean by is right, that has multiple zonings or more room to expand, or it's zoned for a higher density, which means you can add more units in the future, you can cross-collateralize that property when it appreciates to build more units and increase your cash flow and set you up for retirement. So that's what $20,000 can do for you here in Phoenix, Ruben. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, here's another question. We were talking in the car a little earlier, And you know, some people are trying to figure out how are they going to get into investing and do real estate, and they may have a specific amount of expenses. Let's take somebody that's got $3,000 in expenses that wants to get out of their job. What advice can you give that person?
The best advice I can give them is join a real estate investment group within your area. If you're in Phoenix, there's multiple groups. The one that I feel extremely comfortable with, that I can trust because I've had success and results, is the Phoenix Real Estate Investors Group here on 35th Avenue. And join that group, and join the group, shadow someone who's extremely successful, who has a paper trail, who has a portfolio here in their area. Shadow someone who has an area of expertise so he can teach you what the pros and the cons. And then from there, you can start making a list of all the people you know, relatives, associates, acquaintances. Think about any person who's a state employee, who's been in the military, who's working. Even if you have a cousin who's a shoe shiner, who works at McDonald's or Walmart, you'll be surprised what a ton of resources these people are. Because anyone with a reasonable job, someone that's been working at Walmart, for example, working for 24 months, you might be surprised they'll be entitled for a loan. They might qualify for $50,000, $60,000, and that's ample funds, ample qualifications to get you going and build momentum. So, someone that wants to get out of the rat race, for example, let's say your cost of living is $3,000 a month. You can do that with 2 deals here in Phoenix, and by basically what you do is you partner up with someone who qualifies for a $40,000 loan or $50,000 loan. You buy a property that's going to give you ample cash, that is going to give you that residual that you're aiming for. So with 2 or 3 properties that you buy, that can give you up to $3,000 to $5,000 a month in passive income for the rest of your life. Now, can you retire with $3,000 a month or $5,000 a month? Absolutely. It just depends on what your quality of life is. But I mean, financial success, there's not a set formula. I used to be in debt. I used to make $50,000, $60,000 a month, but my monthly bills were, or my monthly liabilities were about $30,000. So in reality, I was broke. On the other hand, now my monthly expenses are about $2,500. That includes my housing, my car, my necessities, and I have a passive income of $5,000 a month with a 50% equity position in every asset, and my portfolio is just growing, and my passive income is just growing. So every time, my philosophy has changed. If I want to buy a nice car, a nice toy, let's say I want to buy another car, and that my payment's going to be $500 a month, well, I better make damn sure that I buy 1 or 2 or 3 properties that are going to offset that payment. Otherwise, I don't even touch it. And I'm going based on experience. So don't purchase on emotions. You want to buy properties, you want to get involved, you want to get in debt with good debt, not bad debt. And good debt is this prime property right here. We're in debt with $90,000, but our monthly debt service here is $860, but it brings in $2,700 a month. So that's phenomenal debt. That's the type of debt that you want to guys get. So that's good debt or bad debt. So you have any other questions, Ruben?
Cool, that's it, man.
I think I deviated a little bit, right?